Hi. Thank you for coming to my interview. First off, let's start with what's your name?
My name's Alan.
I guess the second biggest question is what division were you part of?
I was with the 4th Infantry Division located in the Central Highlands of Vietnam. I was drafted in 1968.
Other people were involved in the war. Do you know anybody that you knew before the draft and then might have joined later, or was there so limited information that...
Well, my older brother, he enlisted before me. He went in 1967, like setting up phones and communications inside a base.
Yeah. And you were enlisted or drafted?
I was drafted.
Drafted, okay, right.
So I knew people were volunteering or being drafted at that time.
What did you do during the war in Vietnam?
First tour I was in, I was with a line company. It was a company made up of 4 platoons. We set up a base, a fire base, and each platoon would send out patrols and patrol the area. That was done on a daily basis. About the 10th month of my tour, I joined a long-range reconnaissance patrol, and that was going out. Each team consisted of 3 or 4 people, and we were taken out by helicopter and dropped off for 3 or 4 days, and we were to recon the area and not make contact and just report back of enemy activity.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple times we had contact. Most of the time we did not, and that's how my tour ended. I was wounded and sent home.
Mm-hmm. And did you want to be involved in the war? Did you see it as something that was like patriotic and good for your country, or did you find it not as good?
At first, I was not against the war. I was like, if I got drafted, I would serve my country. If I didn't, that's fine too. It seems like everybody that I knew around my age were drafted at that time.
And obviously this entails how the war was portrayed in media and life, whether people liked it or not. There was obviously a division.
Yes, in the beginning of the war, I think the general population supported the war and thought that we were doing something right. I think as the war progressed and more people were being killed, that a lot of people turned against the war.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning, you go to boot camp and basic training, correct? So, how was boot camp?
It was a lot of yelling and a lot of. It was hard. It was hard for me because I wasn't that physical person. I was not in football or anything, but it's a lot of really physical and mental too. They push you. They push you because later on you're going to have to be pushed.
So did your family want to fight in the war, and was anyone else that you know from your family other than your brother also involved in the war somehow?
Because nobody wants to go to war. Nobody wants to send their younger son to battle.
Right.
My dad was in World War II. My older brother he enlisted, and other cousins were being drafted at the same time. A lot of kids in the neighborhood who were around my same age were being drafted.
How old were you when you got drafted / deployed?
I was 19.
19, right. So did you work as anything before you were drafted?
Right out of high school, I had a factory job. Just get a job right after high school, just to try to get a car or something.
Mm-hmm. And where were you deployed, and what was the environment like?
I was deployed in Pleiku was the base camp, and we were deployed out in the field, and it was mostly mountains, high terrain, jungle, and a lot of bamboo.
What did you do for entertainment when you got deployed?
When we got a chance, somebody had a radio, and we just sat around and we listened to the radio, and they keep you busy filling sandbags and digging ditches and going on patrol. It's like you're nonstop. They don't let you sit around doing nothing.
So how was the food there?
During that time, we had sea rations, and if you were hungry, they were okay. Other than that,
Yeah.
they were lousy.
And what are sea rations?
Sea rations are food just in small cans, and
Non-perishable.
no,
Yeah.
they had like beans and franks and stuff like that.
Yeah. And how did you get to leave Vietnam? How old were you, and what was it like?
I was medevaced out of Vietnam. I was wounded, and I was taken out by a medevac airplane, and I was flown to Japan, and then was checked out, and then sent to the United States, Fort Dix, Jersey, medical hospital there.
Yeah.
So did you make any relationships, or did you make any friends or anything after service? And what were they, and how were they affected by the war?
I did not stay in contact with the people that I served with. Kind of lost contact. It was kind of hard talking about the war, so I kind of put it to the side and tried to forget about it. Which wasn't the best thing.
Yeah. Were you involved in any other wars?
No.
Certain veterans, like Wes Moore, have gone on record to say that when veterans return to America, the way non-military people interact with them is a bit stifled, in that they're hesitant to be offensive or bring bad memories by questioning what they did. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. I had a hard time talking about the war, and I probably avoided people questioning me. It took a long time for me to talk about it, and even to show people the pictures. I should have gotten help back then. I know it's available now, but back then it was not available like it is now. Yeah, I just tried to forget about it.
Yeah. And this has helped for like mental issues? And...
Yes, just certain things will set you back to the war. Right now, even now, when I hear a helicopter, I have a flashback.
Uh-huh.
On a mental level. Okay. Well, thank you, Al.
Okay,
For your time and your service.
Thanks.
no problem.